In the wild, there are moments of peace so rare they are almost a dream. Deep within a cave, a mother is caring for her newborn cubs. The honey badger, an outlaw of the savannah, but in this moment, she is not a warrior. She is simply a mother, with eyes full of love and the most powerful protective instinct nature can bestow. But on the savannah, peace never lasts. A dark shadow appears in the distance. Then two, then three. The entire pack of hyenas, African opportunists, have sniffed out the cubs' milk, and they know that inside that cave lies an easy meal. But they misjudged. They did not know that they had just awakened the most dangerous thing on the savannah, the wrath of a mother. Today, I will tell you a story of revenge. A story of loss, of the madness of maternal love, and of a weapon that does not who could have imagined. The mother honey badger, the sole protector, is doing the work of a mother, caring, loving, and protecting. But above ground, a threat is approaching. A pack of hyenas, 6, 7 of them, have sniffed the scent of the young from afar. They are not brave predators. They are opportunists. They don't attack the strong. They attack the weak. They attack when their opponent is defenseless. And for them, a den full of young is a perfect target. They surround the den entrance. A skinny, hungry hyena recklessly sticks its paw inside, hoping to catch a honey badger cub for breakfast. But it doesn't know that, in that darkness, a mother is staring at it, and that mother's eyes are glowing red. And then, the darkness in the cave erupted. The mother honey badger rushed out like a whirlwind, not to flee, but to attack. Motherly instinct had awakened, and when that instinct awakens, nothing can stop it. She lunged straight at the hyena, biting its nose. A scream of pain rang out. The hyena recoiled, startled. It hadn't expected such a small creature to attack so fiercely. The hyenas saw her. They weren't afraid of a honey badger, but they were afraid of her eyes. The eyes of someone who had nothing left to lose. They knew that if they wanted their meal, they had to confront the devil. Hyenas are tactical. They don't attack head-on. They lure their opponent out of their safe position. One lunges forward, feigns an attack, then retreats. Another attacks from behind. They're trying to drag her out of the den, to get her into an open field where they can surround her from all sides. And they succeed. The honey badger mother, in a fit of rage, rushed out of the den. She couldn't let them get near her cubs, but that's exactly what the hyenas wanted. As soon as she stepped out of the den, the encirclement closed. 6 hyenas surrounded her, their eyes gleaming with confidence. Now, they thought, she had nowhere to hide. But they forgot one thing. She didn't need to hide. She was a honey badger, 1 against 6. That's a ratio that would make any creature flinch. But the honey badger mother didn't flinch. She knew no fear. She only knew one thing. Her cubs were behind her, and she was the only one standing. Between them and death, she plunged into battle. Look at her skin. It's as thick as armor. The hyena's sharp teeth can't penetrate it. Each bite just grazes the surface, causing no serious wound. She bites the nose of one hyena. It screams in pain and recoils. She bites the leg of another. It falls, unable to get up. The hyenas began to hesitate. They hadn't expected such a small creature to fight so fiercely. They had underestimated her, and now they were paying the price. But while the battle raged, another was waiting in the shadows, a more cunning, stealthier, and more ruthless one. A fox, a wolf, had been lurking nearby for a long time. It wasn't participating in the fight. It was just waiting until both sides forgot one thing. The den was left open. While the mother honey badger was fighting with all her might to protect her family, another was acting in the shadows. The fox, a clever and cunning animal, the fox sneaked into the den. It moved silently, stealthily, like a shadow. And in that darkness, it found a target, a baby honey badger. In a split second, the fox snatched its cub from the den, and before anyone realized it, it had vanished into the bushes. The mother honey badger didn't know. She was still fighting, still protecting, still doing everything in her power to keep her family safe. But in reality, she had lost a child. Finally, the hyenas fled. They couldn't endure the mother honey badger's attacks any longer. One was bitten on the rear, screaming in agony. The others, seeing they couldn't win, dispersed as well. The battlefield became quiet again. The mother honey badger returned to her den. She stepped into the darkness, thinking she had protected her family. She thought she had won. But as she counted her cubs, a terrible silence fell. One was gone. One had vanished into the darkness without her knowing. She didn't know who had taken her cubs, but in her mind, there was only one culprit, the hyenas. They had surrounded them. They had attacked, and now they would pay the price. The honey badger mother's true rage had begun. The honey badger mother couldn't let this go. She couldn't let the one who had taken her cubs survive. She followed the hyena's retreat, but she wasn't in a hurry to attack. She was searching for something, and when she found it, the entire savanna would tremble. Half a kilometer away, a huge groundhog nest lay hidden beneath a tree. Thousands of bees were working inside. They were tiny guards, but their weapons could make even a lion flee. The mother honey badger knew that, and she knew she had something no other creature on the savanna had. Skin so thick that bees couldn't sting through it. She charged into the beehive. With her sharp claws, she tore the hive apart. The bees swarmed out in a black mass, furiously searching for the intruder. But the mother honey badger wasn't afraid. When the swarm was completely enraged, the mother honey badger began to run, not to hide, but to lead them to her true target. She dragged her army of bees straight toward the hyena's hideout. The hyenas were resting after the battle. They thought they were safe. They thought they had escaped the honey badger's wrath, but they were wrong. From afar, they heard a strange sound, a buzzing that grew louder and closer, and then they saw it. The mother honey badger was charging, and behind her were thousands of angry bees. Hyenas don't have thick skin. Hyenas have no protection. When the bees attack, they can do nothing but run. The bees stung their faces, their ears, their eyes. They screamed in pain, clutching their heads, rolling on the ground. But there was no way to escape the bees' fury. The hyenas panicked and fled. They would never forget that day. The day a tiny mother had turned the entire savanna into a battlefield to protect what she loved. The honey badger stood there, shaking off the dust and bee stings from her body. She watched the hyenas flee, and she knew they would never dare come near her den again. The battle was over. The honey badger shook off the dust and the remaining bee stings from her body. She looked toward the sunset, where the hyenas had disappeared, and knew they would never return. But she also knew that she had lost a child, an irreplaceable loss. The mother honey badger lay down beside them, and in that moment, she was no longer a warrior of the savanna. She was simply a mother holding her children in her warm embrace. But she had also affirmed a truth on this savanna. Anyone who dared harm her children would pay a very heavy price. In the wild, there is no forgiveness, only revenge. And the honey badger mother showed that she was a master of both. As night fell on the savanna, I realized one thing. We often think of strength as something big, loud, and terrifying. But today, I saw a different kind of strength. The strength of a mother. The strength of sacrifice. The strength of refusing to give up. The honey badger mother showed us that when you are the only protector, you have no right to fall. When you are all that remains between your child and death, you will find a strength you never knew you possessed. Ask yourself, how far will you go to protect those you love? What weapons will you use when everything is against you? And are you willing to pay the price to protect what matters most? Because in the end, the savannah taught us that love is the most powerful weapon, and when you love enough, you become invincible. The mother honey badger proved that today, and she will continue to fight day after day until her last breath, because it's a mother's instinct, and nothing is stronger than that instinct. What do you think about how the mother honey badger used the bees as a weapon? Do you think she did the right thing in taking revenge like that? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to follow more stories from the wild. See you in the next episode.